Yo, what's up, everybody? It's the MadRabbit, and I want to tell you today that the devs have made some changes to Nature, Light, and Rage in an update that they made today around 10:30 a.m. to some of the powers, and to go ahead and review with you some of the changes that they've done. I've gone ahead and opened up all the changes on the test server, and we're going to go through them real quick. I'm going to read exactly what it says, but you know that a lot of these changes came from the community announcing what it liked and what it disliked, showing proof of things that were kind of broken, and acting upon that. So they're listening to us, they're making changes, they're trying to bring balance to the game. So let's go ahead and take a look at these changes and see what they've done. So far, as far as light goes, below you will see the changes made since we put light on PC tests in the stats revamp. There are some reduced power costs for a few abilities, some increased damage on lunging moves and range abilities, and control roll did not lose any crowd control effects. Some of the dots were not stacking, but should now. We also made lightweight strike ability, which means that you're not going to swing it around anymore. They're basically having it cast like ice boulder strike from up top, like some of you had asked for, to take over the supercharged generator and damage debuff duties of lightweight. Also, a visual effect is being worked on for inspiration, and the vulnerability issue with input and the counter system is still being investigated. Alright, so as far as light goes, these are the changes to the powers. Snap Trap. The damage over time effect from the tray abilities can now stack with the construct combo version and has the same number of damage ticks. Grasping Hand. Basically the same thing. The damage over time effect from the tray ability can now stack with the construct combo version and has the same number of damage ticks. So that's very good for a single target range rotation. Chainsaw. Increase the damage of each attack that lunges you towards your target and puts you in melee distance. Entrap. So they're really making it, how do I put it, worthwhile being at that melee distance and using melee moves. Chainsaw. Entrap, which is the swing with the baseball bat. They increase the damage of each attack that lunges you towards your target and puts you in melee distance. Light Claws. They rebalance the damage and reduce the power cost of the tray ability to 200 from 300. So they reduced it by 100. And now the tap attacks to 50 from 100. So they reduced each tap after the combo so that you can keep comboing with Light Claws from 100 to 50, which is great for the power because it was just consuming way too much power, as you can see in some of my older videos. And the hold attack from 100 to 200, which is the Light Claws hold, to account for the speed at which you can use these attacks. Excellent. Now boxing has been rebalanced damage, I'm pretty sure it's been for the lunges, and reduced the power cost of the tray abilities to 200 from 300, and the tap attacks from 50 from 100. So they also reduced the cost on that as well, to account for the speed at which you can use these attacks, which are slower combos because you're not really stacking them, you're just going through the attacks, so they're giving you a little bit more damage. Chompers, reduce the power cost to 100 from 200. That's awesome because that's just our PI initiator, really doesn't do a lot of damage. They removed the panic ability from to enemies in DPS roll. Great, so now we don't have freaking ads running everywhere. And change this to be a 6-second dot with no initial bigger hit. This allows the damage over time to be larger ticks. Great, so basically, in essence, balancing out chompers. Spikequake. They increase the damage of the first burst hit and remove the damage over time to help differentiate between this and chompers. Snap Trap. The tray ability and construct combo versions now have the same number of damage over time ticks and tick once per second with larger ticks instead of once every half second with smaller ticks. Alright. Now Lightweight Strike. This is a new 200 power cost ability that drops a weight construct on your target, damaging and stunning it, and nearby enemies as well as dazing them. This is now a supercharged generator and a damage debuff, and has a 6-second cooldown. So no longer is the old lightweight that you had to construct and then wait for it to grow and then throw is no longer your supercharged generator. Or the damage debuff. Now it's Lightweight Strike, which is a new power. Lightweight. Deals extra damage to today's enemies and is no longer a damage debuff or supercharged generator, what we just said. Impact. Increased damage in both rolls. They removed the knockback, is one of the knockdown? Alright, they removed the knockdown and DPS roll, and this now deals more damage to today's enemies. Ram. They increased the damage in both rolls, which is great. They removed knockdown and DPS roll, and this now deals more damage to today's enemies. Awesome. Minigun now deals more damage to dazed enemies and removes stun and DPS roll, which has pushback. Awesome. Let us know how these changes work, and of course which play style you're using while testing. All right, so those are the changes to light. I'm pretty sure everybody can be pretty happy about the changes to light, where they basically increase the damage, increase the fact that if you get in there with melee moves, you're gonna get a little bit more damage, and they reduce the power cost, which is good because they were freaking insane. Being that it's a combo power, you can stack, you can only imagine. And by the way, I thought that was pretty funny, so I'm gonna share it with you. Yeah, I think that was a Kurogi. I'm not sure what I think it was. It's pretty funny. Lightweights everywhere, flying around. All right, on to the next one. Nature. Here we go. All right. As I'm sure you'll be able to tell from this list, Nature did not receive many adjustments since the initial implementation of the power set for Stats Revamp. There are some abilities that needed to be brought in line that I'm sure are obvious to you, like Swarm and Carnivorous Plants. The other changes are mostly bug fixes. That said, this does not mean that Nature is complete, and I'm pretty sure they mean this for every power, and has reached its final state. There will surely be more updates to come in the future as we continue to test and receive feedback. I apologize for the lack of responses this last round, as we have been pretty bogged down with the tasks outside of the Stats Revamp. Next week, I'll do my best to respond to your questions and field your feedback and suggestions, okay? As always, thank you all for your time and testing efforts. Well, you're welcome. Let's read on. Nature. Blossom, they moved it up to level 5. Voracious Plants, they moved it down to level 7. The reason for this is the switch of Blossom and Voracious Plants breaks up the sequence of back-to-back damage ability unlocks, followed by back-to-back healing ability unlocks when you're leveling up, basically. So instead of getting 2 damage abilities and then back-to-back and then 2 healing abilities, now they're mixing it up, which I believe is pretty good. You get a damage and a healing, so you start healing earlier if you need it. Roar. Properly damages in damage roll. This is a bug fix because Roar simply just wasn't putting out any DPS and damage roll. Swarm. Damage output has been reduced. Swarm's damage output had previously been calculated incorrectly, putting its capabilities far out of line of the balance of other abilities. This has been fixed. Savage Growth. No longer damages the caster. This is now a bug fix, which is good because before, not only did it damage the caster, but if you were close to the caster, it would damage them as well. Imagine casting their own power and then starting to take damage. It's crazy. Alright, Carnivorous Plants, which just had a crazy ass, and I don't really know where they went with this, because they don't say that they found it splitting damage. What they said is that they upped the cost of it. So if that's true, that's pretty good. That super was pretty good, pretty intense. All right, the actual supercharge cost was not updated from its live value, while the damage out was calculated with its new supercharge cost and updated. This has been fixed. All right, and forms should no longer give additional group buffs in duos. This is a bug fix. The group buffs should only be granted in parties of 3 or more when particular roles are not present. So group roles are back. Group buffs are back. All right, next and lastly, but not least, Rage. These are some of the changes that they made to Rage. Let's go ahead and go through them real quick. Hello, today I will pretend to be Moha. So go easy on me. I sometimes make mistakes. He's out of the office today and I'll be posting his notes, but he will be responding to them when he gets back. There was some updates to Rage, and without delay, here they are. Channel Hate. Changed to a mobile cast and reduced the damage slightly. This is a quality of life improvement, which is something that people had been asking for in the Rage forums. Severe Punishment. Now grants a damage aura in DPS roll. We wanted to make Severe Punishment a better option while in DPS roll, and this should bump it up to a bit more to make it more usable there. Frenzy is no longer vulnerable to block. This should make it more consistent with how combo abilities work. Redirect Rage now grants Fervor and Tank Roll. We heard worries about not being tanky while Severe Punishment was down. This should help grant you defense that you need to survive in the interim while giving you an option to Remorseless Recovery. Plasma Wretch. They shortened the channel duration to 1 second, which is awesome. They changed it to a mobile cast. Other awesome. And now it deals damage over time for 12 seconds. Other awesome. They increased cooldown to 5 seconds. So it's a little bit longer on the cooldown, but it's still, like I said, they're still testing. Cooldown at 4 seconds, 3 seconds may have been better because you want to go ahead and probably spam that with, what's it called? Your range move, but that's another issue. That's another topic. Let's keep reading. All right, Plasma Wretch, they sort of, it's no longer vulnerable to interrupt while channeling with Plasma Wretch after the 5 second cooldown. Lacerate, they removed the knockback, increased the cost to 300, up from 200, and they increased the damage. So they upped the damage on that one, but they increased the damage accordingly. Outrage is now categorized as melee, increasing the damage slightly. So this is basically a little hint too that they're categorizing certain powers as range and melee moves, and this is how they're bumping the damage up a little bit on them so you get a little bit more bonus from being in melee distance. What else? That was Outrage, right? Revenge, now categorized as a melee, increases damage. They increase the damage on it slightly as well. Relentless Anger, now categorized as melee, increasing the damage slightly. Ire, they reduced the cooldown to 12 seconds and reduced the healing accordingly. Ferocity, due to the changes to Ire's cooldown, the ability has been removed for now. We want to test this out and see what it does for you. We will be keeping an eye on it over the course of testing. Vindictive, cooldown increased to 30 seconds, up from 12. So I didn't really know what that power did, but we'll have to check it out. And Rage Blast increased the damage slightly. I wish they would have made that an AoE, but hey, you get what you get. Please be sure to respond to the changes after you test them and let us know how you feel. Thanks. Well, those are the changes that they've made to Stats Revamp 1.4 and DCUO that the devs have made to the latest 3 powers that they dropped, which were Rage, Hard Light, and Nature. Some, if not most, of our concerns with the powers have been answered. There's a lot of testing yet to be done because we still have to bring things in balance, and according to how powers work is how you should attack the situation to see where you're going to help out a power to bring it up to par. You really can't just pick a certain power for every power and be like, okay, we're just going to make this hit harder, you know? But they're listening to all of us and, you know, filtering out what I guess they deem is either incorrect or wrong in their eyes in the bigger picture. But they're listening and they're trying to make the game better. And everything that we're doing as far as putting out videos, having them backed up with great audience and great comments as well, is helping us get the message out there and helping whatever's wrong or broken or what needs to be fixed gets fixed. I know every now and then on the channel I'll post for a while just things that are going wrong. It doesn't mean things aren't going great on test. It just means that every now and then, like, I gotta highlight the wrong so that it gets a little bit of attention, so that it doesn't make it onto live. You know, if there's fuck ups, okay, that's expected. But I'd rather see them on test server than on live. So sometimes we gotta show the ugly side too. But thank you for watching. Stay tuned because we'll definitely keep testing the test server and Stats Revamp, all the powers, all the weapons, and see all the changes they make to bring you a better game tomorrow. Take it easy, y'all. It's MadRabbit, and I'm out. Peace.